Rule number one, we never sell on price. Some hustle for the block, others choose to slang rock. But my people hustle hard, make a million with the mop. When you pull up to the spot, what's up, me amigos? You need your building clean, then hire all my people. You might know him or you might know me, but now that you're here, you're recruited to the team. If you didn't know, we the TPC, and we all about growth. Now let's chase your dreams, baby.
Right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner, our first ever episode in person. Have we ever done an episode in person, bro?
I'm trying to think. when you were in Denver, did we ever do any? We would have recorded it virtually and put it out like that, but I don't think we ever did one side by side.
I just realized that right now.
The only one we've ever done in person was at our last Cleaning Profits event.
Yeah, but that's the event recording.
Yeah.
Damn.
Technically.
Well, in that case, here, let me do this again. Welcome to the Profitable Cleaner, man. Today I have a really cool guest today, James Harper. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Blessed to be here.
Hey. Listen, we have a few things we want to talk about today, but I really want to take the opportunity to interview my own co-host and vice versa. I think that'd be really cool. I don't know if you have a list of questions that you've always wanted to ask me that maybe you haven't asked before. I don't, but I'm about to start coming up with some. I think it would be really cool if we let people in a little bit on our lives. I know we're gonna start recording a lot of guests here in person. Thanks to Edward. Shout out to Edward.
Shout out Eddie.
Yeah, and
Matthew.
Hey, you can hear him on the recording too. That's right, Matthew. We have producers here with us now. We're in person in Arizona. We're in Glendale, right? Are we close to Glendale? Tolson.
Tulsa, Arizona, baby.
I don't even know what's the thing.
Basically, it's Phoenix.
Yeah. So basically, right about.
We're pretty much in Glendale.
Okay. Yeah. We're in Glendale. Okay, good. We're in Glendale. James swore that we were 10 minutes from his mother's house, but we were 40 minutes away from his mother's house. So
I think that was with traffic.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's gonna be good though. No, I think let's talk a little bit about the podcast, and I want to get into questions, man. And then if you guys stick with us here for the next hour, we'll make sure we make it worth it. We'll talk a little bit about life, and after this, you'll get a lot of our guests. I know we got Selena from the Elliott Group and Tab from Network Live. So it's gonna be I can only tell you they're gonna be a great episode. So let's get into it, man. First things first. Last year, you guys heard the recap. I think we got 35,000 downloads. We did okay. It still feels crazy to think that we've never owned a cleaning company. For those that have never heard us in the past before, welcome to the Profitable Cleaner.
Welcome.
Our goal is to get a minimum of 100,000 listens by the end of the year. So we're only going to 3x what we've done before.
I think it's kind of, I've been thinking about this. I don't know how many podcasts are out there in any industry that actually talk about their downloads and how many people are listening.
Not in our industry, no.
Well, definitely not in ours, but it's we're going public with this because one, there's nothing to hide on our end, and number two, it's kind of an accountability factor for us at this time next year if we say we hit it or not. Yeah,
I think and then it's all if I could talk to 35,000 people in 1 year,
exactly,
and know that I could have given them one message that might or might not change their lives or create some transformation in their lives, and I think that would be a hell of a year.
Totally.
And so it sounds cool. Again, so for those that don't know us, my name is Angel Sandoval. I'm here with my co-host James Harper. We've never owned a cleaning company. We won't ever own a cleaning company. All we're gonna do is use our resources and our mind to get you the experts that you want to hear from, and hopefully bring something new that you've never had before.
Yeah, basically at the end of the day, it's I kind of view us as connectors. I think that's our natural ability in life of who we are. We're connectors, and that's what the Profitable Cleaner ultimately has turned into, the TAP network that you talked about.
Tapping in, yeah. Well, now we can't use that because we're going to have a guest named Tab. But no, and we're doing it in person now in Arizona. I'm from Houston, Texas. James is from Denver, Colorado. Or I'm not from Houston. I live in Houston. He's from Denver. But we're going to be flying quarterly with our new podcast producer and partner here to just bring you guys higher quality content. That's how committed we are to the industry, the podcast, and then now eventually bringing you that 300-person event here in September called Cleaning Profits. So, James, for those that don't know you, give us the 20-second rundown, because if we're going for 35,000 listens to 100,000 listens with less episodes in a year than we've ever done before, that means their reach has to be bigger. Just from a tactical standpoint, we have to reach more people.
No doubt. So if you know me or if you don't, my name is James Harper. I'm a connector, a provider, and an initiator. Those are kind of my core strengths and core being. But ultimately, I'm a husband, father. I'm always a seeking man of faith in God. And I do like the game of business. So I guess that would sum me up. What about yourself?
Yeah, and Angel Sandoval here, 29 years old, connector, challenger, and provider. So the only difference between you and I would be that one, that other. What else? I'm a man of God. I seek first the kingdom of God in anything that I do. And yeah, man, I fall in love with business. I fell in love with business, not with money, which is a little different. I fell in love with business. I think money is just a byproduct of whatever we build, but yeah, man, I love business. So let's get into it, bro. You want to ask each other questions for the next? You guys are gonna be our clocks, okay? You guys gotta let us know too, cause fucking we'll get lost in here, bro.
Yeah. Next thing you know,
Questions that we've never
3 hours
asked
in.
each other, co-host to co-host, so that people can start listening to a profitable cleaner. So depending on this episode, we either gain and hit our 100,000 listeners by the end of the year, or we don't. Based on this episode, if this episode had the weight of us hitting our goals or not hitting our goals, what kind of questions would we ask so that we can make sure that they can stick with us for the next year? That's I'm gonna put that pressure there and see what the fuck we come up with. Gotta stop cussing though. Gotta start cussing.
Stop or start?
Stop. What do you mean, bro? All right, let's do it. I'm gonna give you 15 seconds to think of questions, and I'm gonna think of questions too. No holdbacks. No holdbacks.
No holdbacks.
No holdbacks. No professional. Like it has to be this because of this. I want people to get to know us for who we are. And
Okay.
so if we want them to know us for who we are, then or who we used to be, there you go.
Yeah, there you
we
go.
can even also talk about that.
There you
so,
go.
10 seconds. They'll tell us when they pass. And then we'll get started.
I think actually this is what makes us.
Give it that 10 seconds.
You want 10 seconds?
give it this-
You want 10 seconds
Let
of
me
silence?
process it. Yeah, let me process it.
It's already over.
No, damn it. All right. Well, that actually explains our relationship. All right, let's get it. You have one?
How so? How does that explain our relationship?
I don't think there's ever been a moment that there's been silence between us.
That's a good point. That is
Like, I don't think
really-
I've ever sat with you and been quiet.
I think that's a good point. I remember one time. So I do remember one time that we did a Wim Hof session.
Yeah, but you're doing a Wim Hof session that you have no choice. If you're trying to talk during a Wim Hof session, you're going to pass out. So, but like just sat there, bro, in silence. We've never done that.
Yeah, that is true.
So we should seek that more.
That is true.
But let's get to the questions. Do you have questions or do you want me to kick it off and I'll come up with
What
it?
do I do that pisses you off? You said no
Hey, by
holdback.
the way, this is the camera that I can look at for shots, and that's the camera he can look at. Hey, motherfucker. I just kidding. No, okay, so things that... Oh, damn, bro. Yeah, I know. It's like, we should do more of that. We do need to do that. Look straight in the camera. I think that's helpful. So, like, if you ask me, do you answer it as well? Or like, once you ask it... all right, we're going to let them decide. Once he asks it, does the question burn itself? Or does the other person have to also answer it in
You
reciprocity?
answer it and then you fire back.
Oh, and then you fire back. Okay, he's trying to get us to fight. I don't know.
Jeez.
That's what we do.
That sounds fun, actually. We never fought. I don't think I could ever fight with you on the real.
I mean, fighting typically, unless I think you're in a form of like protection or ultimate like standing up for injustice, is pretty dumb.
Yeah, unless it's that. Yeah, but I think it's more like creative discussion.
Yeah.
What do you do that pisses me off? There's a few things, bro. Let me
Oh,
think.
here we go.
Yeah, there's a few things. No, I think this is a hard one, guys. If you have one too, feel free to bring it up. What do you do that pisses me off? All right, there's two of them.
Here we go.
There's two of them. One, you yawn when you're getting energy. That's bullshit, and I know it. he yawns in front of people sometimes, and he's like, sorry, bro, that means I'm getting energized. I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. I've never heard of anybody that gets energized by yawning. You gotta admit, like, that's a tough one to. I believe you. Kind of.
I haven't yawned today.
I know. That means what? That you were just not.
That means I'm exhausted.
That means you haven't. I know, right? That means I need energy. No, that means you weren't entertained last time. That was interesting. But staring at a screen for an hour during a podcast is different than 2 hours in person because you feed off the other person's energy. So, the second thing, it's because pisses off is such a strong word. I don't think there's anything
it just like came to my mind.
that I dislike. Maybe.
Yeah, there you go.
Sometimes you could be too chill.
Too chill.
Yeah,
There you go.
too complacent in things that we do. Even though you're not in 95, 97% of what we do, there's that 3% sometimes that things that don't interest you that you're like, we'll be okay if we do it like this. And that drives me crazy sometimes. How about it? That's pretty good, right?
No, I think that's valid. Of course. Hell yeah. There's some complacency on my part.
Like the stickers today.
Yeah.
We had
totally.
stickers for the podcast for the guests. We didn't bring them. And you're like, sorry, my bad. And I'm like, no. Like, there's a part of me that's like, bruh, my stickers. But anyways, listen, I didn't bring them, so I don't have any. So there you go.
It's on me. It's on me. No, absolutely. I think that's a valid point.
Funny. Why would you ask that question to kick off? What about you? What pissed you off that I did?
What pisses me off that Angel Sandoval does? You're right. And saying that out loud, like what pisses you off, that's like a strong statement.
Yeah, I'm gonna say dislike.
Dislikes or annoys or frustrates probably.
There you go. That's a better
probably
one.
Frustrates.
Yeah.
Like even dislike is.
Yeah, because I don't get angry, bro.
Yeah,
it's rare for me to get angry.
Yeah, same. I think sometimes I can tell when you're frustrated, maybe not with me necessarily, but with whatever, and you want to get really busy just to get busy. And therefore, I'm like, why are we getting busy or just to get busy?
Yeah.
So
fair.
that would be like my number one thing. Like if times are stressful, all of a sudden, like you need to put more stuff on your plate.
Oh, 100%.
To put it out there for whatever reason. And
Being so nice.
and well, dude, we're being honest here. You
Now
know?
you gotta assume that I'm only putting a little bit on my plate. But if you know how we run, when I I put too much, and then I put it on everybody else too. Yeah, I put.
and then it goes to others, right? So that's probably the one thing that gets frustrating at times. But honestly, so it's kind of funny. Like you and I get asked a lot about our business partnership and all of this, and we've talked about that a little bit. There's only been like a few times where like Angel and I have like actually like been like frustrated with
where anger took over a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they were all valid reasons.
I can't remember any of them now.
Yeah, exactly. I just remember one was when you were in Denver and the state of the business was not where it should be. And we both felt it, just had our different opinions. I don't even remember what it was. But I remember us like getting frustrated, getting into it. And it was a very light into it. And then like us basically saying, that was good.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was good.
That was healthy.
Like, this is healthy.
Yeah,
this is
so
healthy.
we talk shit to each other. I remember now.
All right, question's yours.
If you could erase one thing from your past, what would it be?
Gosh, that's a good question. And while we're answering these, you guys should think about what your answer would be, whether that's with your business partner or with yourself. Erase one thing from my past, what would it be?
Yeah, like the Men in Black thing where they're like, and like it disappears.
That is, man. I kind of have this thing where like I don't know if I'd want to erase anything from my past, but I think if I had one thing,
because we're made up of our past, right? So
yeah,
like, it makes us who we are today. But
yeah, exactly.
Maybe there is something that you went through that is useless.
I mean, I think I went through a lot of useless things and wasted a lot of useless effort on useless people, but I think ultimately that taught me a lesson to be where I'm at. But one thing I don't think I wish to erase anything, but I wish I could do something different. I wish I would have taken, this is going to sound funny to some, I wish I would have taken high school and school more serious. So for those that don't know, I'm like really not educated. The last grade I passed was 8th grade. I wish I would have had like a high school and even like maybe even a college, not degree necessarily, but like that experience. I think that does a lot for people. Not the degree itself, but the structure, the organization, the habits that come along with it. So I wish I could erase my, I don't even know if erase, but like change that.
So you wish you would have gone to high school?
I wish I would have gone to high school. Yeah. So you technically can't erase something I didn't do, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, what did you do in between that?
I got in a lot of trouble. That's what I did in between it.
So you would want to, would you replace that for high school?
No, because me getting into trouble and like going to halfway houses and juvenile hall really built a lot of who I am today in a good way, in a good way. And I don't think I would have got that from high school. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So not answering the question, but okay, we'll take it. So not erase anything. You would add to your life.
If I could erase one thing, it'd be
going to high
Super Bowl
school,
48 Broncos versus the Seahawks. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
What would you erase?
I like the other answer, but hey, listen, delete that one. What would I erase from my past? Yeah, it's an interesting question because you're right. We're made up of what we've been through. But there has to be things that we went through that did not serve us whatsoever. Right? What's one thing I would erase? You know, there was one thing that, I don't know if I would erase it. You're right. Like, would I erase it?
It's a hard question to ask.
Yeah.
Or answer.
Yeah. No, I think I would erase, even though I learned a lot. So I moved out of my house because of fighting with my parents and not having a car and doing like I moved out and I would run to college every day and do other people's homework because I couldn't have a job because I didn't have a car. So, and I didn't know about the online world. So I would just do people's homeworks in college. I think I would erase that season from my life. Even though it taught me how hard work, I don't think I needed it to learn about hard work. Because I went back home and then moved out like a month later after that. I think I would delete that part I would erase it to be able to understand the value of family a little bit more. So I think if I would have learned that lesson before, that you don't get whatever you want just because you want it. Some things are in the hierarchy, like you respect your family more than what I wanted in the moment, which was to go out all the time. I think I would have ended up better than where I'm at today. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. That's actually a really good answer.
For those that don't know you, what are your top priorities? What are your priorities? There you go. Like water?
My top priorities over here is making sure Edward doesn't spill water all over this beautiful camera equipment. No, I'm just kidding. My top priorities in life is that's deep.
You don't know your top priorities, your core values, or your top?
No,
priorities?
like my core kind of like the principles I live by is freedom, family, and then legacy. But like my priorities would probably be being the best version of myself spiritually, relationally, and then physically.
But what are your priorities? Like, you don't have them listed, or is
no? So I'm getting
like
to
statement.
it. No. Because I think your priorities kind of are a statement. It would be taking care of myself in all forms to be the best version of me, and then taking care of my family, and then taking care of my immediate community. And I think it goes back to like the provider in me. And my immediate community could be my actual community. It could be the businesses we're involved in, the people we're connected to. So it'd be like priority is like health, spiritual check of me, the same for the family, and then hopefully influencing that in a positive way of different avenues of growth for my sphere of influence.
Damn, I feel like my answer sucks then.
What's yours?
God, family, business.
Or it's super clear and concise, which is also good.
But like, so what you answered is what? Is that those are your priorities, that whole statement?
I guess that's just what was coming to my mind, because like these, so for anyone listening too, like these aren't pre-populated questions.
Yeah, no, of course.
So yeah, I think if I were to list them out like in bullet form, I think you're right. I think it would be like God, family. And then, yeah, mine would actually probably, I would, instead of saying business, I would probably say community still and put business in that sphere.
That's fair. That's fair. That makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah, that's a good question. And actually, it's something like everyone should challenge themselves to be more clear, like you were, about.
We used to put self. I used to put self before everything. I would put like self, or I would God self.
Well, that's
Or-
actually what I
would put
did.
self. But then I heard from somebody, it's like, what is self made of or made up of? And you're right. Then that's when I realized mine is made out of God, family, and business. And so if I'm able to fire off on all those 3 top priorities, then everything else fires off together. And I think when I say God, I don't mean just going to church, right? It's like treating my body like a temple, and it's treating my mind, taking care of my mind, protecting what comes into my mind, right? Keeping the
Yes.
gate strong on what's coming, feeding myself with the word of God when I wake up. So it's like these things that make self happy, make self strong. I sound like a fucking caveman.
No.
I strong like ox. Just kidding. Strong. But anyways, no, like it's true, bro. And I've been in this season of my life right now where I used to want all the material stuff. I used to want all the fancy stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love them. And I think you should reward yourself, right? Like we both just bought a car. We used to be like, fuck cars, bro. I don't want to have a payment. We both just bought cars. I think it's needed. I think it feels different. It leveled me up as soon as I stepped in there.
Totally.
Right? But I've definitely split away from all the material things. And I've learned to find joy and find God in the little things. And when you're able to, I feel like when you're able to find God in the little things, then he's down to provide for the bigger things. And when I mean provide, and I'm just going on a rant here, but when I mean provide, I don't mean like financially. He might also provide peace. He might also provide time. He might also, like, when did you think we were able to sit down and take 2.5 days to record podcasts? Never. To fly down here and hang out with your mom and your grandparents and friends. And I just came from Hawaii, right? And it's like, what? We used to trade time for money. Now we're trading skill for money. And then you trade money for money. And we're on our way to trading money for money, right? And it's kind of cool, but I don't think we do that because we're obsessed with money. If anything, I think me and you are one of the weirdest partnerships where none of us are driven by cash or by wealth. But we respect it, right? So it's cool because I hear all these partnerships we talked about, the one with another guest, and a lot of these partnerships break or get stressful, and that's because they got in partnership to get wealthy, to get themselves wealthy by leveraging the other person. That's how I see a partnership on most times. Hey, you have a skill set, right? Let's become partners, but because your skill set plus my skill set might make me more money than my skill sets alone. And I don't think when me and you became partners, we had the same skill set.
Yeah.
We had very
that's
similar
interesting.
skill sets.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
We had the same weaknesses and the same skill sets.
That's interesting.
Does that make sense? I had something you wanted, which was the discipline of like fitness and things like that. You had something I wanted, which is the way you ran your family. And none of those had anything to do with business.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's why we ended up trusting each other, which is kind of crazy. And so that's why when things get tough here financially or anything really, it's like, it don't matter. Like if let's say I level up ridiculously in business, it doesn't matter because I'm looking at you for what you offered in the beginning, which is how to be a dad, how to be a husband, and how to create entrepreneurship that way. And no matter how good you get, you're going to be looking at me and you're going to keep up with the fitness. You're going to want, and you're already doing, I mean, your results have been better than mine and for a while now. But I don't think we'll always balance each other in that sense because none of us are money hungry and we're both inside the word of God. And I think that's like, I don't know who I was talking to. And they asked me a fair question. They said, what if you guys outgrow each other? Or what if James has another kid? Or what if you have a kid? Or what if you guys' life goes separate or different? And our lives are already different. We value different things, but we have the same core values, the same non-negotiables. Yeah. And I was like, I don't think it ever matters. I was like, I'm married to this man almost like in a business way. Like, even if I wanted to start a new business, I would always bring you in.
Yeah, totally.
Even
No,
if I knew you
totally.
weren't gonna, let's say you're like, bro, I don't have time. I'll be like, cool, don't worry about it, bro. Still get 20% and we'll fucking rock it. You don't have to do anything. Just put your name in there so that I
Yeah.
have you on my side all points, which is kind of weird to say out loud, but that's exactly what it is.
No, I feel you on that because, like, the truth is too, especially if you're in business partnership, ultimately, you and your business partners, some people start at the starting line not aligned to
Yeah.
begin with, right? And then that can become contentious. But you and I's lives are very different. They're super different, right?
Opposite. Yeah, almost opposite.
And almost opposite, right? And you're right; those core values are the same, but like even through partnership, like our lives will probably very rarely be aligned.
100%.
That's just the truth. But at the end of the day, like I want to do business with people that I respect, that I can learn from, that I can give value to, and ultimately that I like. And like I know like people are like, oh, like I don't have to like who I'm in business with. It's like cool, good for you. But if I can learn from them, give value, and I respect them, and then I also like them, it's a win-win-win, and we can mostly figure all the other shit out.
And I think it's like more than like, bro.
Yeah, of course.
Like I'm thinking of the partners that we have in other things, and it's like I genuinely love those people.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I'm
Right, and it's
well
like
said.
it's like so like God explains love in a sacrificial way, right? And I think that's what makes us pretty cool. Is like it's a sacrificial love, which means like not that I would take a bullet for you. Of course, I'll take a bullet for you. Everybody says they'll take a bullet for anyone and shit, but being able to die to one's selfish interest in the moment to serve the other person, that is sacrificial love.
Totally.
Right?
Totally.
And you've done that for me where like I haven't had money sometimes and you're like, here's some money, bro. Like, don't worry about it. And you don't even ask me for the money back. You're just like, here,
Sure.
you take care of yourself. Because that's the season. We're in different seasons. And just like that one time you and Lish were having like a scuffle that morning and I was like, cool, man.
Argument.
Yeah. And I was like, cool, man, I'll be a babysitter right now. Let's not talk business. I'll be a babysitter. You take care of your wife and let's move on. Like, let's go do that. I think that no other partnership is down to do that. Because it's not sacrificial love. It's almost like more of a joint venture. It's almost like in a selfish manner. Like you have something to bring to the table, I bring it to the table. At the moment that you don't bring a specific skill set to the table, then you are useless to me. For me, it's backwards. It's not what skills does James and what skills does Angel bring to the table. Is what intention and what heart is he showing up with, and vice versa.
Totally.
And if we're always aligned in intention and heart,
Yeah.
then I don't see why this wouldn't ever work.
Totally. And then intention, you should be intentionally trying to develop skill.
Of course.
You should be
We're not
intentionally
stupid
trying.
either, right?
Exactly,
Like, shit, I better be smart.
yeah, exactly. That's really well said, man. I have a question for you.
Okay.
Over the last 12 months, and I'm also going to put a caveat on this.
Okay.
Where would you say where would you say your most growth has been as an individual? And you can't say God, even though it probably is.
Ask the question one more time.
So where would you say you've
Growth as
grown
in-
the most the last year? And if you can think of any specifics, give it. And because I know like your relationship with God is always getting stronger. And I think lately it's gotten a lot more close. We were just talking about that at lunch. If you were to take that aside, because that's a clear answer, where would you say other areas you've grown this last year?
I wouldn't say God actually as my answer. I think that's the one that's shown me the most fruit in such shortest time. But
Interesting.
I don't think that that's the main one, because if you think about my years last year, bro, when I was going to church, but I was just doing it more to go, and I was barely kind of exploring the idea, but I wasn't disciplined. You're right. In the last, 4 months, it's been a while, since September, it's been like dive deep into the deep end, like surrendering to God. And that's why it seems like I've been doing it for the year, but I wouldn't think so. So if I take it as like, where did I spend my most time and where did I grow the most? I think it's going to be like tolerance, pain tolerance,
That's good.
pain tolerance, and commitment to suffering. So let me explain what I mean, because that's like, what the fuck? That sounded very dark. The reason now at this new year, the reason this year you probably will never see me rattled, you'll never see me stressed, is because of everything that I went through last year. Now I didn't commit to learning that. And like I didn't say in January, like, hell yeah, let's start the pain and let's surrender to everything. No. But with everything that went going, I mean, the move to Houston, the divorce, putting together a new event, opening up new companies, trying to figure out the relationship with my sister, like everything. I'm not saying it so it sounds like a victim. I'm just saying like everything put together was a lot to take in. And last year was just like, oh shit, what was going on, right? Thursday pain management was it, and learning how to manage it with my mind and my emotions versus a distraction.
That's really good.
So like not going to alcohol, not going to distractions, like learning to sit with the pain. That's why I call it like the management, right? I think that's where I grew the most. Like right now you could throw whatever you want at me and the chances of me getting rattled are very, very low. Could I get emotional? Of course. Can I feel stuff? Hell yeah. Will I cry? Possibly. Will I break? Definitely not.
Yeah.
Will I hit rock bottom? I already did.
Totally.
Does that make sense? So like that part, yeah. And then surrendering to suffering has been what I would consider the last 4 or 5 months, which is sometimes God does want you to suffer and he wants you to surrender to that suffering, because through suffering is where you learn and you evolve. It's not just through the good. It's actually rarely through the good.
Rarely through the good, which is like...
Because good can't teach you lessons.
It kind of sucks to think about it like that.
100%.
You know, because like even me, I get it. I agree with you, man. The suffering is where the growth comes from. And then I'm like, oh, if that's the case and I want to grow, guess what? I don't want to suffer.
Yeah.
I truly don't. But I know that you have to go through that hardship to get to it. And then life ultimately will put you in hard situations.
And again, suffering is like suffering, not hardship. Does that make sense? Like,
sure.
Like so, and the reason I say like that is like some people make stupid mistakes.
Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah.
And then you have suffering or hardships because of it. Okay, cool. That's different. But staying on your path, being righteous, doing the right thing, like doing that and then still appreciating the suffering, that's a different level that I've been learning.
Yeah.
Because people think that just because I got my life close to God, or because anybody would get their life close to God, that now God is your emergency kit and now you get all these answers all the time and now you got favor in your life, therefore you won't go through anything bad. That's complete bullshit, right? The closer you get, the more you realize that whatever he wants, that will be done, right? Whatever he wants you to go through is exactly what you should go through. And there's a lesson to be learned in every phase and every suffering. And so that's kind of what I learned in that's where I grew the most myself. And that's why it's beautiful, because a lot of people are like, dude, you sound different. You look different. Yeah. It feels different. And it's because I don't think I've ever been in so much joy in my life because of how much I've been through. Does that make sense? It's like, if the devil throws some darkness my way, like I'm going to appreciate it. So like the suffering, like allows us to how do you say it? Like surrender more to God, be more at peace. And then the good times and the great times allow you to appreciate.
No doubt.
It's hard to have appreciation during the suffering.
I would actually say that's true with you. Like I have noticed more appreciation from, like I always knew you appreciate and you're grateful.
But I didn't show it at all.
But yeah, you didn't show it, and you wouldn't really speak of it, although I knew it. And like, yeah, you're right. The last 4 or 5, 6 months, there's been more clear appreciation there. And I think one of our team members said this, like, "Oh, Angel feels lighter."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Like light. I'm just kidding. Like a light from heaven. No, I'm just kidding. What about you, bro? Where'd you grow the most?
I think I grew the most actually just in consistency within my disciplines. So like my biggest disciplines were, I was already on the fitness journey and that was going well. I was being consistent, but I wasn't being consistent with how I approached it. And like I would just show up and I'd chalk it up to a win that I'm just showing up. And that is a win compared to where I was at. But then you hit a ceiling. So in 2023, I really wanted to be consistent with my discipline on how I showed up and worked out. So that means waking up at 4:30 in the morning. And I did that more times than not throughout the year. I wasn't perfect. And then halfway through the year, I didn't expect this, but I started journaling. And I've maybe missed like 8 days since July on my journal, which has given me a lot of clarity. And I put that part of my discipline. And then one thing I hung on my wall is I had like a few things I wanted to do no matter what I felt like, what day it was. It was pray the moment my eyes open up, and then pray nightly. I'm really good about praying in the morning. I actually forget to pray nightly. Move my body every single day. And then last but not least, meet people with love, or greet people with love, and leave them with love, specifically my family. So like, even if it's crazy at the house, am I greeting my wife and kids with love? If I'm leaving, am I leaving them with love? So I'd say consistency within discipline.
Perfect. No, that makes sense, bro. It makes sense. Yeah. It's been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of change.
So check this out. I'm trying to think of like, it'd be almost wild to go back a year.
And see what we're doing or what?
Not see what we were doing, to see what the show was like. Going back to the Profitable Cleaner, like the show itself. So we're doing this in person. We're live right now. And then to go back 2 years and see what the show is like. We
should have totally prepared that.
Yeah, we should have prepared that. Andrea?
Probably terrible.
Andrea, help.
Do you think it was bad?
I think we have bad shows for sure. Every podcast has bad shows. We definitely have really freaking bad recordings.
Yeah, no.
Like
dude,
in terms of like our tech, like the quality.
Yeah, we sound the same this year.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just
in terms of the quality, that was definitely bad. But honestly, I know that there's substance there.
Yeah.
And not just substance from Angel and I, substance from the people that are on the show more than anything. So
here's a question. You said we have about what? 8 minutes? 9 minutes? Yeah, cool. I just say it. I say it is what it is. We gotta learn how to do this live, bro. I still gotta have a countdown or like a little timer. With that being said, I have some questions for you. So you remember our last event? You remember last podcasts that we do, right? If you could help every listener overcome one thing this year, what would it be?
If I could, man, that's a big question. If I could help every listener overcome one thing this year, what would it be?
And when you have it, look at the camera and be like, my goal this year is to help you do what?
My goal this year would be to help you guys think bigger and believe bigger, ultimately.
And why that?
Because I know that action comes from belief and behaviors comes from belief. And I think people like to say they believe it, but does the action back it up? So let me kind of dial this in. My goal for every single listener this year would be to believe bigger and back that belief with actual action and habit.
Why do you feel like they don't think big enough, though?
I just know based on conversations that I've had with some of our listeners, I know some of our listeners knock it out the park. I also know because I need to believe bigger and act bigger as well. So if I, with my own personal journey, can help share that and help spark something for you or someone else, then I think that's a win.
That is a win, 100%.
What about you?
I keep asking these questions and then I forget we have to answer them. I'm like over here trying to interview you. Let's see. One goal for the people here. I think my goal for anybody that listens to our podcast this year, I'm on a mission to do two things. One, I think the first one is leveling up your own image. I think I'm actually on a mission to help you level up your own image in every aspect, especially in the cleaning industry. There's still a lot of people that see themselves as like operators. You know what I'm saying? And,
Totally.
And they gotta start thinking like owners, because the ones that we ran into that operate like owners, bro, they changed their lives.
Yeah, no doubt. And their image.
100%.
That's a good
100%. And
good-
so my
good
goal
analysis.
is this year, it's on the mission to do two things: level up every single listener, and two, whether you're a believer or not, to help you get closer to God. Those are my two focuses for this year: leveling up your image and getting you closer to God. Can you be close to God and not automatically level up your image?
I actually think you can.
Okay.
I actually think you can. I don't think it's common. I think that would be more in the minority, but yeah, I think you can. I also don't know.
Yeah, no, me neither. I
Ultimately.
think you can. No, you're right. I think you can have a really close relationship with God and then still in the worldly world, like in the world scenario, still not treat yourself as such.
I think the deeper you go, though, the more you start leveling up.
Yeah. The more your relationship gets strengthened, the more you automatically show up.
Yeah, exactly. And how you show up freaking matters, man. I think that's so important. Like even like us, like I've noticed like just this year alone, like we're trying to show up different on Zoom calls, like with our image, energy, and intention, and it feels different.
Yeah, 100%. I know we have a few more minutes here. What can people expect from James, the co-host of the Profitable Cleaner, this year?
So what you can expect from me here on the Profitable Cleaner podcast this year is true authenticity. I think there's been times, especially when we were new to the industry, trying to fake it till you make it a little bit. And I hate to say it, but that's just me being honest. And I just want to be my authentic self and continue to develop that. I also want to be more honest in our conversations. If we agree, disagree, things of that nature. But I know that when I'm my authentic self, that more magic can happen. So not saying that I haven't been, like I think listeners know who I am, but I want to double down on that regardless of the guest. What about you?
I gotta start. I keep forgetting that it's coming my way. I get mesmerized with what you're saying, and then I'm like, what?
What would I say? Tambien?
That means two.
Oh.
Me too. So what can they expect from Angel? What you can expect from Angel this year is pretty simple. I think in the other years, we've been trying to just bring you content and just ask questions and kind of sit back. The reason we wanted to do it live is to not only ask questions, but to challenge our own guests, our own, like the own speakers that we have. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to make sure we have conversations that are worth having, and help you ask questions that are worth asking. They always say, like, there's no dumb question. 100% there's dumb questions. And people need to understand that, bro. Like, especially when you have somebody that has the life that you want, you don't go and ask them, so when you started, what kind of HR policy did you? Like, you don't ask something that has not, like, that's what you have another expert for. That's why you go on YouTube. But, like, when we have these millionaires sitting next to us and these industry, like, savants sitting next to us, we're going to ask the things that really matter, and we're not going to let surface answers anymore, right? We're going to get into it, and we're going to challenge them, and we're going to challenge you, the listener, to take action. So that's what you can expect from us. And you can expect from us, like, investment and an increase in experience. I think there's a lot of podcasts that can stay. Dude, I know big-ass podcasts that still have the same studio that they've had for 3 years, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But I also feel like if you want to show your commitment to your listeners, you got to keep leveling up. Like, if next year we're still in the same studio and he didn't make more money, like y'all didn't make more money, so y'all can get even a bigger studio or we can do a better setup, then we messed up. Those are the kind of expectations. And I'm staring at them like, but these are the expectations. Like, I want people to listen to our podcast, watch this, say, hey, where's that studio? Pay them money. Come here. You guys make more money. We got another studio, right? Like, we got to level up every single time. So if anybody listening to this does not level up after listening to us, like,
we failed.
We failed you. 100%. It's not about me. It's not about him. It's about a bigger calling. It's about that's what's making us. That's what, like, our superpower is. If I don't make any money from this podcast ever, and I don't make any money from our event ever, I promise you that it will make a difference for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like,
I make money from other sources. This is truly a selfless and just a given act.
yeah, I think the best podcasts are like that, though, man. I heard someone talking. I think it might have been Tim Ferriss. Like, I would do this regardless of if I was making money or not because I did it for years without making any money.
Exactly. Now, we hope we eventually do make money. I don't mind money. I respect money.
Now,
but
with that
is
being
not,
said, if you're listening to this, I'm just kidding.
I know if you want to be a sponsor, no. But the main takeaway of that is we enjoy doing this.
Yeah, totally.
And I hope I get to do this for the next 20 years. I hope I get to say, hey, welcome to episode 1782 of The Profitable Cleaner. Like, I really hope I get to that. I don't even know what number this is. Dude, we got to get more prepared. What number is this?
We're 132
We used to
or
have
something.
we used to have Andrea on the screen, so she would like type the answers. We don't.
We should literally just have her chill in there.
Could we do that? Yeah, dude, that would be hilarious. If we just like have her there as like our Chat GPT, but Andrea instead.
Yeah, let's go.
That'd be fun.
We could Zoom her and she could share her screen on what she's doing.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
There we go.
That'd be fun.
Andrea Garcia in the house.
She doesn't know it yet, but she's gonna be in the next episode, so we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
See
you in an hour.
any last message that you want to throw for the audience, man? Anything you want to tell them? Any message you want to throw to anybody? Or if you had to have 3 speakers that were in your dream list for this year, who would those speakers be? If you could have them on this podcast, whether they come here or we go to them, what would be your top 3 speakers that if you had them, you go check?
Oh, that's a really, really hard question to answer because there's so many good speakers out there. But I think top of my list, number 1, would be Ed Milet. Ed, since I know you're listening, would love to invite you to Arizona.
Since I know you're listening, I love that.
Ed Milet would be number 1. Number 2, and actually none of these are in order, but this is just how it came to my head. Patrick Bet-David. I think PBD. I've been on this PBD train here lately. Nice, so, bro. Patrick, invites open, brother. That third one's hard, man. So I just joined his coaching program, and I'm really loving his content, and I really love what I've heard so far and dove into. Actually, it'd be Jesse Itzler.
Jesse
Itzler. I think he brings a really unique perspective on business, lifestyle, and discipline.
Damn. Let's find a way to make it happen.
Yeah.
So Patrick Bet-David, Jesse Itzler, and Ed Milet.
Yep. Who would yours be?
Dude, do you think we can make it happen? We should make it happen. Patrick Bet-David, 100%.
100%.
That's someone.
Freaking hit that button, dude.
Wait, which one?
That one. There we go. That's the PBD button.
You can hear it?
No, I just.
Oh, you just know it. Oh, okay, that's hilarious. Patrick Bet-David. You know what? I wanna do a podcast, but smoke a cigar with Patrick. But I'm gonna do it. Well, who would you do a podcast with a cigar next to you? Let's make a cigar. Patrick Bet-David, Bradley, because he just looks very cool smoking a cigar. I hope I look that cool. And he's fucking smart. And the third person, you know what I would want to do as an episode? I don't know who the exact guests are, but I would want to have a pastor and a priest. And just put some chairs and let's get to it. And just throw bombs right in the middle. And just let them do their thing.
Let them go
100%,
at it. 100%,
bro. Like if I could get Steve Furtick or something like that and then bring another a priest, that would be nice.
I think that's a really unique idea. And it's like totally feasible.
So if you're listening to this, we actually have a challenge for you. Do me a favor. Help me out. If you could have anybody on our podcast, imagine you could interview anybody and you could prepare the questions and send them to us, but you didn't have to put any money, time, or effort into it. You would just get the answers that you're looking for. Who would you interview? Who would you want on this podcast? And if you want to figure out what we're all about, that's what we're about. You tell me who you want and what you want, and we'll make it happen, and you won't have to put any effort into it. We'll just do the work. We'll do the dirty work. We'll bring you the answer. So welcome to The Profitable Cleaner. Excited for 2024. James, let's have a rocking year, bro.
Thanks, man.